Hi, this is Austin with Brush for Hire with another MiniWarGaming painting tutorial featuring the Grey Knight Dreadknight from Games Workshop. Alright, so let's start in on some of the details on these pauldrons. We've got some Macrite red here, and we're just doing the book cover that we can see the edges of sticking out from behind the book. We're being very careful not to touch the sword on either side or get any on the gold parts that we've already done, because trying to repaint and wash those areas is going to be very difficult. We're also going to be going over this heraldry shield on the other pauldron with the same Macrite red. That's what we've got so far. We're going to rinse and repeat for the area on the greaves. Okay, so we're going to do the pages on these same books with Deneb stone. We're also going to be using the Deneb stone on these banners. Now on the heraldry shield, we're going to use the Deneb stone and create a stripe that goes right up in the middle of it. We're going to try and keep this as precise as possible, but we're also going to keep in mind that we're going to be outlining this white section in a black stripe, so we're not as concerned with the precision of the line. We just want to get it in the right ballpark. So now we've got Chaos Black, and we're going to come back in and create a liner stripe on the sides of this larger white stripe. Now in the middle, taking that same Chaos Black, and we're just trying to make the indication of a sword shape here. So we're doing a really thin line here, and then we're going to do a cross member here for the hilt. So on the eyes, we're going to take Mordian blue, and we're going to cover the lens surface here. And then we're going to highlight it with ice blue, just trying to get a little shine in the middle of it. And from the previous video where we did the gems on the back of the Dreadknight, we're using that same process here on the joystick grips. There are two little gemstones on top. Now for the eyes, we're going to hit with just a tiny little speck of white, just to give it that extra sort of shine effect. Next, all of the Deneb stone areas we're going to wash in griffin sepia. And we're also going to apply some of the griffin sepia to the pauldrons to darken them up a little bit and to help separate the letters. coat of it over the heraldry shield will give the same tonal effects to that area as to the other areas of similar color. So now we're going to apply the same washes to the areas on the legs that correspond with it. And that should go fairly quickly there. Now once the wash is dried, I've loaded up with some Chaos Black, and we're going to try and do a little bit of freehand script here. I just started off with an illuminated eye at the beginning of the text, just a large eye because that's one of the icons for the Grey Knights and the Inquisition. And then we're just making sort of these squiggle lines to represent some of the text that may be on these pages. You can see they're not solid lines either. I try to break it up a little bit so that it has the illusion of possibly having some words. We'll do the same for the book that's on the leg. Now on the main heraldry shield for the Dreadknight, we're going to go ahead and spray that down with Chaos Black. So now we've applied a thin strip of masking tape down the center, and we're going to be airbrushing Macrite Red over this. And now we've added a tiny bit of black to the Macrite Red, and we're going to start shading the bottom of it. We're not looking for anything particularly fancy here, we just want a little bit of color gradient on the red sections. So next we've masked off everything but a small sliver of the black in the middle, which we will cover with Skull White. This will achieve the same effect that we did on the heraldry shield that's on the pauldron of the pilot. And next we're going to attempt to freehand a sword to match the one that's on the heraldry shield on the pauldron. Since we've got a slightly larger space to work in this time, we should be able to achieve a slightly greater amount of detail on this. As with any freehand insignias, take your time and try not to get frustrated. You may have to go back over this several times to get it right. Essentially made the main length of the sword, and we're just doing the hilt now. And we're going to do some slight flares on the hilt to give it a little more detail. We're going to enlarge the pommel here just a little bit. Now creating a finer point for the end of the blade. As you'll find, you can work as long or as little as you want on your free hand. You could have even left the sword off and just gone with the airbrushing. Next time, we'll be constructing a base out of cork and plasticard. This has been part 7 of a painting tutorial on the Grey Knight Dreadknight. Thank you for watching. Please tune in for the next installment, and as always, happy wargaming.